everyone? This is the Popcorn Hero Show review of Mindhunter 1 and 2. We're combining them together.
Yeah, we just saw them.
In unison.
Fresh in our heads.
Fresh in your heads.
Well, fresh in, our heads.
So if you guys haven't seen it or thinking of seeing it, I think we should just go straight into spoilers. Because the thing is, the only way to talk about this show is by talking about it.
I mean,
the premise is pretty easy to explain.
Yeah, but we, in order to talk about the show, we have to talk about the show. It's not like we could just do.
Okay.
Oh, this is what season 1 is about.
Let's do a quick spoiler-free one, though. I guess just to kind of say, okay. So the summary, pretty much the gist of the show is it revolves around these FBI agents, and it's pretty much them creating the psychological profiles of multiple murderers, which would eventually be called serial killers. So they kind of create a behavioral science unit. That's what they call it. And the show mainly focuses on the interviews and some of the
cases.
Yes,
how they apply the science.
Yeah, this isn't a procedural where it's like a villain of the week. This isn't that. This is more. It's
ties together.
It's way fucking better than that, in my opinion. But yeah,
procedural shows suck.
So it's one of those types of shows. So if you're into like suspenseful, like very dialogue heavy, like.
It's a drama. It's a straight up drama.
Yeah. Very cat and mouse ish, the way the conversations are. So, if you have any interest in that, definitely check it out. I don't know if you want to do a quick 1 out of 5s.
No, I mean, you like the show, Orlando? Would you recommend it?
The show's great. It's one of my favorite shows on Netflix. So I totally recommend it. If I would give it a rating, I'd say 4 throughout both seasons. Yeah, I would say so.
I would agree with that.
It's a good show.
It's a good show. It has.
I really like it. It's definitely one of the best Netflix shows out there.
It does really good a job, challenging your expectations of certain characters and what you think is going to lead them, to a certain way. And season 2 does a good job in sense of giving some of the side characters more of a plot. Agreed. And more of what's going on in their dilemma, but also dealing with the fact that they have to
in their personal lives.
In their personal lives, and dealing with the fact that their day job though is trying to be in the mind of a serial killer, on top of dealing with personal dilemmas,
personal bullshit. So let's get into it, ladies and gents. All of us here recommend you to go watch it.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it and you're thinking of yourself, damn, what Netflix show should I watch? Here you go, man.
Mindhunter.
There you go. Go watch it. So we're going to go into spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Come back. If you already seen it, stick around. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about it. First of all, I would like to start this episode by saying they need to get rid of that fucking traitor who sold them out.
He's talking about
piece of shit.
He's talking about the snitch of the group, but he's such a minor side character.
But he's so involved in the whole thing that I'm just he needs to go. I don't remember his name. I care less about his name because I don't give a fuck about him. But he needs to go, and they need to get that black guy. And he's better.
Yeah, he is.
You know what we're talking about, Orlando? So the group is the three main people, and then they hired that one guy.
So the thing is that I don't remember season 1 too much.
He's part of season 2,
but he's in season 2. Yeah.
He does that interview.
He does the
interview
and he botches it.
Yeah, exactly.
He botches
that
the
guy.
interview. Yeah, right. I remember. Yeah, he does.
He betrayed them when he sends him the tape.
Right in the first season, does that.
Yeah, it was like an internal affairs investigation.
Right in the first season, he does that because
he's a little bitch. Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I like him though. In terms of plot device, everyone's on the same page, and then he's the up and coming. So I like him in terms of I'm still getting the ropes, and he's very textbook. So he knows the textbook, but he doesn't know how to talk to people. Right. That's his problem. So he's thinking I'm gonna get promoted because I am by the book, and not the other guys who are more involved and they know how to gather information and how to work the serial killers. So I like that there's an odd man out because it gives the team more of a complex. It makes them more complex.
I thought one of the best reasons of why he's there is, like you say, to show that he's very by the book, and especially Dr. Carr, which is the psychology professor. Yeah, the woman, the chick from the Fringe.
Yeah, the lady. Yeah.
It's showing that she was like, yeah, read this questionnaire. I mean,
it works.
Yeah, and it works. Come on, and
it's all you need to do.
Yeah,
nobody else does it.
Exactly. So she's not seeing it. She hasn't been out there. So when the main two detectives have to go and work on a case, she goes with the newbie and has the newbie take charge, and that's where you see him totally fucking crash and burn
because he's doing the questionnaire, and that's when she finally realizes.
Yeah,
this whole time that she's been talking shit to these guys, like, hey, follow the questionnaire, and they don't. It's because you can't. Like, you need to make it organic.
Yeah.
And then that's when she fucking self-realizes that, oh, like, this questionnaire is great for certain things, but in order to have a conversation with a fucking serial killer and make them talk, you can't do that.
But the best part of that is it shows where she shines. Like, she does have a knack for it. Like, there's a reason that she's at that position. You know, it's not just, hey, I'm telling you shit. No. When she actually got into it, she was just like, immediately, she didn't freeze like the guy did. Like, oh, shit. My questionnaire didn't work. She went, all right. I see what Holden and Tench have been doing this whole time. So here we go.
This is to everything.
Right. And then she went right into it and then, told her personal shit to get involved in it and all that. So I thought it was a very great scene when she took charge.
And I think that's what makes the group so compelling, because each one comes at it at a different level. Holden is so self-involved to the point where you think in season 1 at towards the end, like, wow, he is really deep in this. Is he going to turn in terms of, like, is he going to be so empathetic that he wants to start killing to see how it feels? Like, he never has that moment, but you just feel him so engulfed in it.
Yeah. In season 1, I never thought that, but in season 1, I could see why you thought that, because they did put a lot of things that he talked about with the killers, like Kemper and the other guy with the shoes. Yeah. They were involved in the personal life. Like, every conversation he had, he'll go home and something will come up that's there. And I could see how it was like a...
Yeah, I felt like it was there in terms to
show it affects him.
Yeah, and also trying to lead the audience to, like, that... To play with the audience mind of, like, that perception of, like, do you really know Holden? And do you really know his intentions? Season 1, I felt like, was very just, like... It was more about Holden and his... Definitely. And his work. But I felt like it was driving more of the audience of, like... He's too in it, right? He's going to crack, basically. And so...
I never got that sense.
Yeah, I never got that sense
really?
either.
I did. I remember getting that sense of, like, are they going to go with this trope? Yeah. That I'm so involved that I'm going to, like, maybe kill something to see how it feels, or kill to understand, like, how their mindset. Because he was always so about, like, I want to know why and understand why so I could do better at my job. So I always thought he was going to go. It was going to go that route of, like, maybe I should do this so I can understand them better. So I felt that, and I felt like it was trying to lead the audience to think that. So then that's why season 2 does a great job of, like, diverting your expectations in sense of, like, he has that panic attack, and then it picks up from there of, like, oh, he got so deep in that he couldn't deal, and then he had to take, like, a step back, and you see, like, the ramifications of that panic attack.
I gotta say, and especially now you mentioned the panic attack, the guy that plays as Kemper, like, Kemper as a character is easily the best character of season 1, because he wasn't that much in season 2, but oh my god, the charisma on that guy, it was like, holy shit. It's just, it was that he's so nice, and then he's fucking absolutely batshit insane. He's huge, but then he's also friendly.
Yeah, he holds your attention.
Yeah, I was just like, man, I was just like totally engulfed by, like, wow, this guy's the writing is so good here, because I'm terrified and not terrified at the same time. I was just like,
what makes Kemper so great, like the guy who portrays him, is that the fact that I'm still trying to figure out if he's fucking with them. The whole time he's talking, I'm always thinking, is this guy fucking with them?
Right.
Because he's just so forthcoming with everything. And he's like, oh, man, but what about this? He knows what they like to hear. So I'm just like, is this guy really fucking with them?
They do give you that doubt a lot. But definitely when you see him hug, Holden and all that, you know that he actually does love the attention. and the fact that they're creating something out of his conversations. So yeah, in the beginning, I was with you. I was like, maybe he's just fucking with him. But now it's like clearly he's like in love with the idea that he's part of a team.
Right.
So
I agree. I think you nailed it there. I think he sees himself as a big part of like what they're trying to do. So like even when he in the second season when they interview Madsen, he was just like, give him like pointers, kind of like, oh yeah, I got you guys. I know how this guy works. Kind of like, hey, I'm with you guys, even though I haven't seen you guys in a long time. Like,
right,
I'm still here. Like, I'm still here whenever you need me, and I'm still buddy.
Yeah, especially he's like, oh, you're here to see Manson. Is like, no, we want to talk to you. And he was like, oh, really? Yeah. He gets all like, oh shit. Yeah.
It's funny, man, because like the first season. He does like you said, like Kemper does a really good job of like that. He's so tall, he's so big, he's so menacing, but also so like gentle and sweet. And it's just very scary, like very.
He does a great job of flipping the switch. Like he's like, oh hey, you want some pizza? Hey, pizza, hey. And then suddenly it's like, oh, how'd you kill your mom? Well, and then you see him get like all like dark and shit, and then he tells a story, and you're just like, oh fuck,
yeah,
don't want to fuck with this guy. Or even the scene there where he goes to hug him, you see him looking at the nurse and he times when the nurse leaves that he could just fucking get right back up super quickly, like with this crazy agility and like hugs him. And you're just like, he could have snapped his fucking neck right there. And that scene was terrifying. I was like, oh shit, dude.
Yeah.
So when he had the panic attack, I was like, yo, I feel you, dude.
What's fascinating about this show is that you never see, for the most part, the people they interview, you never see like they're murderers, you never see them in the action.
Yes.
So they show other murderers happening, like other potential serial killers, but they're not caught yet.
But and also you're not sure 100% if it's case closed or not.
Right.
There were a lot, like one of the first murders that they captured. We were like, ooh, is it him? Is it not him? They never really answer it because I guess they give you the same uncertainty that the people in the field feel.
Right.
So obviously I don't know shit about fucking policing, but to me that felt realistic. Where it's like, yeah, I got it because all this evidence points to this. Yeah, there's doubt, but I think I got him. It's not my fault to decide now. So, all right,
right.
Put it out. And I never felt a sense of closure from any of their cases, any of them. And that to me felt very realistic.
What about the guy who killed the band girl?
I want to kill the band girl.
You're
absolutely right. Never mind. Scratch. That's the only one where you felt closure because that was like open and shut.
The one that killed the band girl.
Yes.
Yeah, the baton twirler where he had the rock in the investigation, in the interrogation room.
Season 1?
And that's when he starts shaking.
Is it season 1 or 2?
I want to say it was season 2.
Right. I think the beginning of 2.
Yeah. Because he's like, oh, I found his rock.
It was the beginning of 2. I think it was the episode 2.
Yeah, the beginning.
Because that was his first case after, I think, the whole panic attack, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. It was like that where they had to set the scene and start. And then they tried it again for the redneck guy that ended up just being like jerking off in the woods.
Yeah.
But the first time he did it, he got that guy. So, okay.
Yeah.
That's probably the only time I felt closure.
But I didn't feel closure at all in the sense of, because everybody, they didn't really do it by the book. It was very weird. The whole like, is this legal? The way they did, and how he recorded late, and how he stopped recording, and then he recorded again, and like that whole thing was kind of like weird for me. I was just like, is this by the book? Are they gonna get a conviction out of all this?
Okay,
yeah. Threw me off at that
point. Like maybe a good lawyer will be able to drop that for coercion or some shit or whatever. So the main part of season 2, which now we just finished, was the Atlanta murders.
Yeah.
For the children. And
the Atlanta Monster.
The Atlanta Monster.
As the media called it.
Yeah.
Were they 29 kids? 26 kids?
Yeah, I think it had
30 kids.
Yeah, a whole fucking 30 kids, which is insane. So I knew the story already. I knew that it was a black dude that got it, and I knew that they never convicted him of the children.
Right. They tie him to the children, but he was never convicted to the children.
He was convicted of the 2 adults.
Yeah, and it shows that like the police were kind of fed up. And they were like, we just need to close these cases.
So even though, I guess, so when I was reading the story, there was a lot of, before I watched it in the show, I was reading about it, and there was a lot of controversy that he was just a fall guy, while the real one's out there. The way the show portrays it as is like, yo, this motherfucker's really weird.
Right.
And he definitely did some of it.
Right.
And then at the end, so after they get him, after they convict him for the 2 murders, they get another really strong lead of another house with another thing, and that nothing ever happens
they
out
can't
of that
follow it,
because they drop it. So it's just kind of like, fuck, dude, that sucks.
Right. But it's so good in terms like it sucks because real life. It also shows you like
the red tape,
like just like no
the politics,
the politics of it. Like like we can't.
And it's crazy how politics get involved in policing. It's just like
nuts.
That
dude.
should be a separate.
2
entities different.
And one of the moments I kept mentioning it to you. Remember this part where he's trying to do the vigil and he's trying to do like the posters to get the job offers and whatever. And all that red tape he had to go to. Oh, wait, you want to put this to all the counties? Oh, you got to get permission from these counties. Oh, now you're going to print them. Who are you going to print them? Who's going to pay for the printing? We're going to pay. Oh, you need to sign this form so that we could pay for it. And I was just like, yo, how does anything get fucking done?
Yeah.
It got me so frustrated, which was great because it showed me the realism of like, damn, dude. It's a miracle they catch anybody with all the shit that happens.
And of course, and that's also back then. Like that's like back then where, for the most part, things can stay hush hush because the media isn't all everywhere, so they can control things. Now you see things like if there's a big outroar of it, things tend to move faster now, which is kind of good.
Yeah.
In terms of like,
well, I mean, it was the outroar that happened there. Yeah, I guess you're kind of saying that it wouldn't have taken 20 kids. It would have taken maybe just a few.
Right. I mean, especially, and
I can see that.
And that's what the race relations back then, like in like the 70s, 80s, like, black kids missing, it's kind of like,
who cares?
Who cares?
Right.
You see that a lot because they're just like, oh, black kids, they get in trouble all the time, or they're out here.
They're poor, live in the streets.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck about them?
There's a part where in fairly early in the investigation where they go, oh, well, this amount of black kids get killed every year. It's not that much different from the average. But then once it hit a certain amount, I forgot how many, maybe 20-ish, they were like, okay, this is above the average. Now there's something weird. Yeah. So it took all of that.
And it's weird, like, why does it have to take 20 kids for somebody to do something about it?
Yeah.
Right.
That was pretty much the whole thing, especially with the mothers and the families. Just like, yo, what the fuck? And yeah. Like, and every time Holden was like, yeah, I'm here. I got you. I was just like, I know you're not full of shit because
he's not.
Because you want to. You love the case.
Well, the thing is, we're following him, so we know he's invested into it. We know he's not bullshitting. But the thing is, from the outside, how did the hostess chick? How did she know he wasn't full of shit, or how did the mothers not know he was full? In their shoes, I would have been like, fuck this guy.
Well, for the most part,
because hey, I'm gonna stay here, and then the very next day you get pulled out.
Right.
Like,
for the most part, they were thinking he was full of shit. For the most part,
yeah,
and they weren't buying it. And like one of the moments that I thought like was really jarring was like they're doing the march, and so the march is to catch like the killer, like kind of like in place.
Yeah,
kind of like if he sees like I guess the cross,
he sees the cross is supposed to represent the kid,
right?
And if he goes to each of them,
yeah, he'll go back to like their grave sites. And so his idea is like he wants it's like a totem. Like the killer's gonna go back and kind of like make a sacrifice or do like a ritual.
Yeah, do something
in
to pretty much be like
these locations. So if I put these crosses here, the killer will come back. And you see like once again like the logistic gets involved and like the cross company makes the crosses all fucked up
and then he
like,
has to build them.
He has to build them, and he's running, and it's this weird thing of like. It's kind of like you have this group of black people like running, like marching for like these dead kids, and you have this white guy literally like right in front of them with this cross, and it's a weird, like I'm not sure what the symbolism there is, but it's just a weird exposition where like you see them like our like pain isn't your moment to shine, and it kind of has that like even though they understand what he's doing, like it comes off of like you're
using us.
Yeah, you're interrupting our mourning.
I got that vibe too, especially with the way she was looking at him as he's building it. He's fumbling.
Right.
He didn't end up building it because he's trying to get the peg in, but then he looks at her and she was just like, this look of disgust on him, like you're using us, you know.
Yeah.
I did get that vibe because there was so much tension in that scene. I'm like, what's going on here? And I'm like, oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he's kind of fucking up a nice moment, or at least what they're trying to do.
Right.
Sure,
like,
it's for a good.
It's for a good cause, but
it looks weird, like you said.
Right. Yeah, we are in a moment of like despair, and I understand what you're doing, but you're interrupting our moment of mourning, of grieving.
Grief. Mm-hmm.
It's all about optics, man. Optics are so important in everything you do.
Yeah, I was just thinking about like you know, you're at a funeral, you know, for someone, and suddenly you're just like cops there, just like going up, and you're just like, I know you're trying to, but like you're fucking ruining this moment, you know. So that's definitely the vibe.
Yeah,
that whole scene was showing, and it was like, damn, this sucks.
Yeah.
And it's all because the red tape fucked them up to get them late to do everything.
Right.
So yeah, there was a lot of frustration in season 2, but it was all on purpose to justify why they couldn't find either the real guy or the other guy that did this. So, yeah, it was crazy. And to show it's not an exact science.
I don't think there was one person who did it all. I think there was a lot of people, like various people who did it.
Well, I mean, that's what the show was implying, definitely. But
and it just so happened that this guy, he probably did a few of them. I'm not saying he did it. He probably did fucking do a few of them. And
especially since they found the exact carpet fibers on the bodies and the exact dog hair on the body. So clearly he did some.
He did some of them.
But
he could have done some right.
But the weird thing is
all 30?
But no, definitely not all 30. But the weird thing is that a lot of these kids were connected. Like the show was saying, there's a string that ties them all. And he never really fully understood the string because they didn't really nobody cared to understand the strings.
Right.
Even at the beginning when he's telling the cop, the white cop at the beginning of the season, like, hey, I think all these things are connected. And you're like, oh, they're not connected.
Oh, right. Yeah. In the beginning.
Like,
this kid just got missing.
The kids get missing. They're doing these things. And of course they're going to go missing and die. But I'm just like, he's trying to figure out the case and like connect the dots. And these dots are all connecting. For somehow they're all connecting. Mm-hmm. So these are kids from the same block, from the same neighborhood. And it's kind of like, isn't that like, it's hard to watch this and be like, damn, these people back then are fucking idiots, you know? Mm-hmm. Especially like Rana said, they were mentioning the race relations and shit like that. Yeah. Back then were very tense, especially in Atlanta most likely. So it's kind of like all this shit is like they're coming from the same neighborhood. That's not normal. You know, like you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like all this idiotic shit that was happening.
Right.
And I can't believe it took it like so long to get actions of that.
And that's like what Pedro said. That's what the good thing what the show does. It shows you like the politics of it all and why it took so long. And not only that, it because at least the police department did want to end like the cases, but at the end of the day, their thought was it has to be the KKK. Like their thought was like it's white people doing
all these black kids are missing.
Right.
Clearly,
it has to be the white KKK.
It's a hate thing.
It's a hate crime.
Not one was a white kid.
Right.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense
in theory.
It makes sense. But the thing what's so great about the show is that like Holden, he doesn't
see black and white.
He doesn't like
yeah.
Pun intended. Like he just sees the case and then sees like where are the patterns and how can these patterns relate to the murderer.
So everyone's like, wait, it's a black dude, and he's like, it doesn't matter. It's just it can't be a white guy because he would have got snitched out.
It could have been. It could have been a KKK also. Some of them could have been a KKK who did a copycat. You know what I'm saying? The thing is that a lot of these things it probably started out as somebody.
He did. I was gonna say he did the experiment of a white guy trying to pick them up, and no one went in the car.
But the thing is that like I think it started off as maybe a serial killer, copycat, serial killer. You know, 30 kids. I don't think one person fucking killed all 30 kids.
No, clearly no.
Like the thing, the way it was framed is like, hey, these kids got missing, and they're missing for a few days, maybe even weeks, and then they pop up. Right. So like someone is holding them, and there's definitely a copycat. There's definitely a person who's a KKK person definitely most likely did a few of those because they saw the pattern in the news.
It's possible.
And like, hey, let's kill these kids just like how we see it in the news. And they'll never pin it on us.
They even tapped the phone line of one of them and he said, oh, you got so-and-so. Yeah, go get another one.
So the thing is that like, it's a mixture of all these things. Like there's a lot of fucking shit going on. And I think that's one of the good things that the show did. That they portrayed a lot of these little things that were happening.
Right.
And it's just like, fuck, dude, it could have been anything
right
at this point.
Of course, the show is is not. It's based in reality, but it's fiction.
Oh, for sure, it's super
But-
fiction.
But it gives you in a sense of like these are the possibilities
Yeah.
of like what could have happened, and this is why
Yeah.
it could account for so many like deaths.
Yeah. So aside from the actual things that happened in history, some of the other shit that they threw in there was pretty fucking crazy. Like Tench's son, that whole plot line they did in season
That's
2.
scary, man.
Right.
Where they always set up that the kid was weird. The kid was
quiet.
It's quiet.
Never talk to anybody.
And they were kind of setting it up, and they would always. And I even told you, I was like, damn, he's scared that his kid is gonna be a killer too, or whatever. But when they actually fucking sort of did it in season 2, I was like, oh shit, they went there. That was pretty fucking nuts.
Yeah.
So and that was like, I was feeling it, dude. I was like, man, it's a tough thing. I don't know. It's just all the personal shit that they went through was just so, I wouldn't even say relatable because clearly I've never, but it was just, I don't know.
You can see it happen.
I could see it happening. I just felt it. I was feeling it. Like,
Yeah.
the writing was spot on because I was like, damn, dude, that fucking sucks.
Yeah. And the thing is, he's a character he's like no bullshit kind of character. He is there as Holden's like
Babysitter. essentially.
babysitter. Because he is not for like, that's why I love each character in terms, that's why I think each character needs to exist.
They bring something to the table.
They all bring something to the table, and they all bring a certain type of like conflict in terms of like how they all tackle these like cases.
Yeah, like he's sickened by them.
Right.
He's like, I'll do it because we'll catch motherfuckers.
He's disgusted by the serial killers, and so like he's disgusted by these acts. So he is no bullshit. No, like I'm not here to baby you or to be empathetic towards you. I'm just here to make sure he does his job and he doesn't fuck with the paperwork. That's basically it. And so it's hard. It's difficult to see him go through that in terms of like, oh shit, now I have to deal with the fact that like my son, and at that point my adopted son.
Right. Yeah, there's just so many in there. I was just like, damn,
Yeah.
you blame yourself, but then you're like, oh wait, no, it's not my fault. But it's like, it still sucks because he's still my kid, but he's not really my kid. There was like so much conflict.
Right.
And you could tell all of them had this crazy conflict where it was like, damn, I was like very well written, like
Yeah.
conflict for sure.
He has that moment of like, because in season 1 you do see like he's a bit detached from his kid, and like he has that moment of like, oh,
He's like, hey, let's go play. Let's go talk about ball. And the kid's just, not about that.
Doesn't want to. And so you have that moment of like, it seems like he kind of, I thought like the way he has as a father figure, it seemed like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be close to this kid. Like that's the mom who's going to raise him, and I'm just going to be in the background.
Right.
Like this is what she wants.
I'm going to be there like cheering him on, but
yeah,
not
like this
really.
is what she wants. That's basically her kid. I am just there to support what's going on. And so then in season 2, when you have that dilemma of like that, he's involved in this like murder, basically. You have him battle with that.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I need to be more involved. I need to make sure that like I am like caring and more involved in his life, because I don't want him to go down this road.
Yeah. Like you actually do see him being way more caring
Right.
after it, where it's like, man, what did I do? Like, hey, man, I love you, whatever,
Yeah.
I will say that there was a crazy sense of irony of how all that happened, because he wasn't hanging out with any kids. And then when he starts hanging out with kids, that's when he's like, yeah, there he goes. Go let him go out there and do stuff, be boys, get in trouble, whatever. And then that ends up causing the whole fiasco because he's with the kids. The kids end up accidentally killing a smaller kid, and then that's how it all gets involved. So it's like, damn, that's crazy. Like, it's almost like a be careful what you wish for like thing.
Kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny where you see how he's not trusting of the social worker, because he knows that the social worker has to do these interviews, very similar to the fact that he does interviews. So he knows that like basically
He knows all the tricks.
she's like a Holden. She's basically trying to be buddy. She's more by the book than buddy, but she knows
She's trying to find shit.
he knows that like you can't give her exactly what you want, because he's trying to find where we messed up. Like they're not investigating him, they're investigating us.
Yeah, you're right. That's why she looks at the room.
Yeah.
That's what I was asking. Oh, what are you studying? What case is it?
Yeah.
What's it involved? Do you bring any of that shit home?
Yeah.
Which he said no, but remember the kid did find a photo.
Yeah, it had it under the bed.
Yeah, I don't remember what the photo was, but who knows? All that could have added to
Fucked
it,
with
you
his
know?
idea.
And
Added
she's
to
like,
it.
how do you discipline him? Do you reprimand him in terms of like hitting?
Yeah.
Or and that makes sense because back
you're,
then
you're actually right. They're definitely she's investigating them
Right.
while the shrink is investigating the kid.
right, exactly.
So yeah,
and back then reprimanding in terms of like hitting that was very
the norm.
common. That was a
Yeah.
very common thing. So even if you said that,
Yeah, it wouldn't have been bad.
like, okay, that's a slight red flag, but not like nowadays where like, okay, your kid would take your kid away from you.
yeah. You smacked him on the ass. Okay, that's good.
That's fine.
You gave him a black eye. Ooh,
Too far.
yeah,
Gotta wear mittens.
Yeah.
but
Overall, it's a great show, man. Like,
definitely.
it's very smartly written. Every character, the dialogue,
yeah.
it's just so smart, and I think that's what makes, it's what makes the show great, and it's a great praise to the writers themselves who make this shit happen. Like every character's interaction, the way they talk about things is all smartly written, and it's rare to see that.
David Fincher, who's directing the show, you could tell that he's definitely throwing in his weirdness in there because I there's like the sense of tension and like uncomfort, ness in each episode, and it's like, man, he's doing a great job.
How did you feel about so season 1 was mostly dealing with Holden and the cases,
and even talked about his personal life
right?
too.
And also dealt with his personal life of him dating.
Yeah,
And then season 2, we have this different side of him where we deal with how he's dealing with his panic attacks. And
Yeah.
it's not really
I don't think it came up that much though.
right
in the
but-
beginning.
The first 2 episodes, and that's it. It was
right.
gone.
And it's mostly about how now so
it's more of like now we need to watch you.
yeah. And so with season 1 into season 2, it's mostly about season 1 is mostly about Holden, his personal life, him dating, and then season 2 it's mostly about
Everybody else.
the cases and everybody else. How do you feel when it takes a back seat?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Him taking a back seat, I thought it was perfect because I
you
pretty
already-
much got everything that I wanted.
You got the character development and the character
Yeah.
knowledge. Season 1. Season 1 is talking about
Yeah.
him.
If anything, I kind of think that the last few episodes were skimping out on Dr. Carr. I kind of wanted to know more about her.
Like she definitely in the last
She
few
was
episodes
so-
was backseat.
Yeah,
all the way.
she was so interesting, and I was like, man, she's kicking ass this season.
Right.
And then I want to say the second half of the season, it's just like as soon as she had that argument with her girlfriend,
It wrapped up her story.
it wrapped it up really quickly, and I was like, damn, it wrapped it up too fast. I mean, they did wrap up Holden's thing really fast too.
Right.
It was like, oh, goodbye, that's it.
Right.
So, I mean, I get it. There's so much shit involved in the show now. It's not just the interviews. It's not just the side characters, but now it was this whole investigation of the Atlanta monster.
The last few episodes were pretty much about the Atlanta monster.
Yeah.
She
Right.
wasn't involved in it, and that's sweet. And she took a backseat because of that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but I hope in season 3 they kind of dive into a little bit of everyone again, including Holden, because I would like to see where Holden is now.
Right.
After whatever time jump they're going to do inevitably.
Right. They're gonna probably be more mid 80s maybe.
I mean, unless Netflix decides to fucking cancel this too. But
I don't think so, man. I think
I read somewhere that David Fincher was planning either 6 or 7 seasons for this, which makes sense because, there's the other thing. They've been setting up BTK from season 1
right. I have.
to season 2. And then season 2 is when you realize it's BTK. And for anyone that knows, he got caught in 2005. So it's like, I feel like he'll be the reoccurring thing in the seasons. And maybe at the end of season 7, they'll do a time jump to 2005 when he gets caught. And maybe Holden and Tench or whoever the fuck is there will be involved in the team and just make them look
That would be
older.
pretty cool.
Make them look older, Kind of like a True Detective 3 type thing. So I think that would be great for an ending. I hope it lasts that long. That'd be
Right.
nice.
Yeah. And how do you? So you mentioned Carr. So basically, what we learned about her basically is that she had a relationship with an older professor at one point.
Yeah, well, she's gay for starters. Already
Right.
in the 70s, it's already a red flag for everyone.
Of course.
Especially if you're working in the bureau where you couldn't even say curse words.
Right.
Yeah.
So she pretty much keeps that on
Definitely.
on the down low until she has to use it in terms of
Which was fucking great. When she used it, you see everyone look at her like, what the fuck?
But everyone thinks it's a
it's
story.
a story.
Well, afterwards, it was uncomfortable. Like, oh, how did you? That was a great story.
That was
Oh,
a good
yeah.
story that
But
you ended up.
that was a Christian guy who's like very religious.
Yeah, yeah.
But like everybody else is like, oh man, good on you for using that.
Yeah, you're right.
Good
You're right.
job.
Yeah,
You
Holden
made
was
him- you
immediate-
made him talk.
Yeah, Holden immediately was like, great story.
So
But the
everybody-
Christian guy was like, hey, that's
Yeah.
a story, right? And it's like, shut the fuck up.
So essentially, I hate that guy so much.
Yeah, I know.
So
dude.
essentially, it's nobody knows that still, and I don't think, and it's one of those things where I think she's still afraid to even talk about it.
I was actually surprised she didn't say it to Tench, because Tench pretty much
they're bros. They're buddies.
Tench went to her like, hey, this is the deal with my kid.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Like, yo, he told her straight up, like, keep this between us.
I don't think there's no problems there to bring it up.
That's true. So, but I feel like if she ever is going to say it, it'll be to him.
for sure.
Yeah.
And I would like to think that he'd be totally cool with it. But who the fuck knows? It's the 70s
It
or
seems-
80s at this point.
It seems like Tench has so much shit going on
He
right
won't
now.
give a fuck.
She could come out the closet and he'd be like, whatever, like cool, just keep it over there. I got shit going on.
Keep that shit to yourself, man. Nobody should know that you're gay.
He'll probably say some shit like, you're the butch. All right, let's have a beer. Some
Right.
bullshit, you know.
I think
Or if it hits the 80s, the AIDS epidemic.
right. They could
pretty cool
they
to bring
could
that up.
tackle that, yeah.
I guess they could.
They could tackle that. That was a primarily male problem, male
Oh,
problem.
and then it became a stigma where it's like,
Right.
ew, you're gay, you're going to give me AIDS.
right.
Ooh.
So they could tackle that.
That is an interesting way
See
to
if they
throw
can,
that in there,
Yeah,
where he starts to hate it, or whoever does.
right.
And then she'll really be like, fuck that, I'm staying in this closet, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
I mean, it's,
Yeah, I really hope this gets greenlit, dude. It's just too great a show to not.
it's a good show. It really is a good show. I really did like the fact that like you learned that I guess it was like a power struggle in her first relationship in terms of like her professor had power over her.
It was almost like her in love with the mentor.
Yeah, as she felt kind of like used, and you see her like now having this relationship with another female, another lady, and not that she wants to put power over her, but
She's like, intellectually get on my level.
Her partner felt that though. Her partner felt not the same, but it's very similar. Of like, oh, you're better than me. Oh, you are above me in this sense. So you feel like you can tell me to move in. You feel like you can tell me to do this and this and this when I don't want to yet.
Yeah. You could definitely tell that she was like, oh yeah, you're awesome, you're great, but you're like I'm better than you. Like she
Right.
definitely had a superiority.
But I don't think I feel that like it wasn't at a place of like I'm going to use my superiority against you or like to control you. I feel like
No, it was more like you deserve better. You
Right.
can do better.
Like I could like let me take care of you. I felt like that was where she was coming from.
or yeah, let me at least give you a place to start, and then from here you can grow.
Right. Like I'm a like
Yeah.
We can,
Hey, live with me. You know, we'll split it. You'll have to spend less money, and then you can go and I don't know, fucking go to
Right,
school or whatever
yeah.
the hell, you know.
and I could
But she's totally cool where she's at.
right, yeah. And I could totally see that like that coming into play of like no, like you can't come into my life and then start calling the shots when you don't know yet like what I have going on in terms of like I have a kid, I have an ex-husband and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's good intentions, but it's coming at the wrong time.
And she took it all personally too.
Right.
When
Yeah, you and me
that
were
whole
talking about
situation,
it. We were like,
she took
come
it
on,
way
man.
too personal. And I think she just doesn't understand the dynamics of.
Could also be insecurity too.
I definitely think it's her insecurity that she took it personally. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
How'd you guys feel about their new superior, Ted Gunn, who was the one that took over from the other guy, the one from season 1, Shepard, which is
Right,
like,
he got-
fuck you, I can't fucking stand you.
Yeah,
and then
he got fired because of the
pretty much they lied.
yeah.
They're like, oh, you lied. At the end of the day, you lied and you approved of this lie because you knew about it. So we need a fall guy.
Yeah.
So it's just like, bye.
I like
I like that he held it for so long where it was like, oh yeah, I'm retiring. And everyone kind of knew why he was retiring except for
Holden.
Holden was totally oblivious. And he's like, yeah, man, congratulations. He's like, you fucking piece of shit.
Like, yeah.
It's your fault. I'm
Yeah.
here.
and it was very crazy when he's having his panic attack
Oh,
and he's
during
like,
that.
wow, you're a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, dude, like
Yeah, that was pretty
you live,
crazy.
you die. You're basically your old
Yeah, he's like,
your old superior is just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. Like, you get your shit together.
yeah, that's true. I forgot about that scene. He immediately starts packing because he starts like poking at his chest.
Yeah.
Listen here, you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man. But yeah, so how'd you feel about the new superior?
I enjoyed him more because he was open to the ideas. He was open to new stuff.
Right. He just wants results.
He wants results, but it is about the results, but he's like, oh, I like all these new shit you guys are bringing up here. Because we were all too stagnant.
Yeah.
We were all too stuck in the old ways. And that's what the old guy, the previous boss, was all about. Oh, let's do what we used to do.
Yeah.
There's no problems of the way we solve things. Like we need to add more
There's
shit
nothing
to it.
wrong with the FBI. We've been doing everything just fine.
So I like the fact that like this new guy's like, nah, man, we gotta change things up. We gotta add these different things. You guys, what you guys are discussing is so interesting, and I want to help you, but you gotta help me too. Like if you want me to help you, you gotta get me results.
You gotta play ball, yeah.
But obviously there's that, but clearly it's for crazy selfish reasons. Like,
right, of course.
He's working his way up that ladder. Like, right. Yeah, but look how good you make me look.
I think he did a lateral move. He just mentioned he did a lateral move instead of a up move.
That's true. He did say that. He said I could have got a position. You're right. But now that he's there, he's playing the game. He invites them to the parties.
He's playing a long game. Because if this shit goes well, he's probably going to jump higher than what he was going to.
He could even be the head of the FBI if he keeps that up. You know,
right.
It's like, oh, you created this entire division that's catching killers. I mean, come on, dude. You found something that, you know. So, he is playing. He's playing the long game.
I do like him because the simple fact that he lets Holden be fucking Holden. And he's aware that, like, Holden has his missteps in terms of, like, he gets too into it. Too
eager.
Like, he's like a puppy dog. And so he kind of like keeps barking out all the information. It's like, yo, you know too much. You gotta shut up because you can't just spewing all of this information, especially the people who are not in the know.
Yeah, it was like, let him follow his instincts. But if his instincts start fucking with some political shit, you know, to tell him to calm down.
And that's what you saw a lot of like the problem with the season in terms of like the conflict because his partner kept getting called away. So it's just like,
called away, right?
I trust him, but fuck, I can't be here because I gotta go deal with my family matters.
Yo, do your shit. How bad can you really fuck this up? And he's like, it's a black guy. It's only a black guy that killed these kids. And then the mayor's like, motherfucker, this is a damn re-election. Like, what are you talking about? I can't.
Yeah, it's sad though because it's the mayor is black and it's just like that must suck to like to hear that. Like you should be more like on top of this. So it's very sad.
But I think that's pretty much the gist of it.
Any last thoughts?
I hope it gets renewed. It hasn't been renewed yet, and Netflix is fucking up. So I hope so. If not, if it does happen to be canceled, it's a very good tight 2 seasons that they do a pretty good job of ending each season on like a good enough spot.
But I feel they need a criminal show anyways. So I think because the last one they had they
literally have a show called Criminal that takes place on different countries.
They have so many shows, dude.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's not one of these shows like
it's not a procedural.
It's not a procedure. It's not one of these criminal shows that people are trying to investigate, like trying to solve crimes, essentially.
Right, which I'm glad. I thought that's what it was at first.
Before they had that show with that guy from Hannah, that one we hate so much. They're really good at Hannah.
Oh, killing.
What was the
Killing?
The Killing. So they don't have that anymore. The Killing ended, so they don't have that type of show. This satisfies that type of show,
and it's got so much buzz, especially with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood coming out, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's the same guy that plays Charles Manson in both." That just built a lot of.
So I hope that they don't cancel it because if they do, they don't have any more crime shows. Essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, fiction crime shows, not documentaries that they have, and we all know about it. But
right.
Just the fake shit.
How did you brought that up? We should spoke about it. How did you like the fact of seeing the same actor portray Charles Manson in obviously 2 different time points? It's obviously in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's a very small snippet of time that you see him.
Yeah, it's very, very fast.
And then you see him once again though in Mindhunter.
There were certain mannerisms I saw that I'm like, oh man, like I don't know. There's just certain like head twitch and his shoulders kind of up type of move that he did, and very quickly you can kind of see him doing that, like that unsure of himself but sure. I don't know. It's weird. And then obviously he has way more screen time in Mindhunter,
right?
But it was pretty cool to see it was the same guy.
Yeah.
And on 2 different, the opposite spectrums of his life.
Of course. And that's what I did like. Even though we only saw him for a brief moment in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, you see him more like that con that he has, where obviously you see his disciples, his followers, who are like engulfing him, who love
Right.
him. But you see him in that moment where he's going up to the front door and interacting with the people that live in the house, and he's confident, but he's also like not overly confident.
Right.
He's
and like upset too, because
Right.
the whole point was to get to talk to the producer.
Exactly, and he is like aware but very observant of like, okay, like I'm gonna leave, bye, and like waving goodbye,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also like probably doing like a head count, like who lives
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
All right, I'm gonna come back anyway.
Totally.
Like looking like he has that way of like, all right, cool, I'm gonna leave, but I'm also gonna just look really quick to see like what I'm up against.
Yeah.
And
It was like an innocent but creepy vibe.
Right.
And then in Mindhunter, it's full blown. Yeah, this guy is the manipulative. You could see it, especially
Yeah.
the whole thing of like, hey man, can I get your sunglasses? And then he leaves, and then he starts like shouting at the guards, like, ha ha, I stole the FBI's guy's sunglasses, and then the guards put him in the hole. And he did that just so he could look like a tough guy around.
Right.
So you saw the manipulation, the game that he plays, and like pretty much all the shit that he said in there was probably all bullshit.
Right.
Just
Even the subtle way of like when like Kemper's just like, hey, don't look at him. He's short. Like don't look directly
Don't
at
look
him.
down on him
Don't
either,
look down
yeah.
on him. And instead of him sitting down, he sits up on his chair automatically. Like without any introduction, without like
To look down on you.
to look down on you, to have that power leverage of like, I'm above you.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I owned it. This is my conversation. You're here to see me. And
Right. I'm the rock star here.
right.
The celebrity.
And I do like that, like that way of like, even though the way that they filmed it, like they kind of just filmed him up, like even as an audience, you're looking up at him, like he is the centerpiece.
Yeah. No, it was good. It definitely showed the difference that he was compared to the others, especially since he wasn't technically a killer.
Yeah,
He was the one that made everyone do the killing. So it was kind of nice to also see the questions and everything change. So no, it was a great addition. But yeah,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this review of a Netflix show called Mindhunter. You guys should go watch it. It's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure you have it. Everybody has Netflix. You might be bumming it up for somebody right now. You have that shit. Go watch it.
okay.
Until next time.
Bye.
bye.